This was penciled in as violence luck. Like, this is going to be blood, guts, gore, violence, and it was all but that. This was actually a very technical kickboxing match, and not the fight that you want to bet on Kevin Holland in if it's going to be a straight technical fight like this. JDM was the right pick, showcased a lot of grit, a lot of efficiency, and just kind of did what he did best, man. Get on the inside, work his boxing, and kind of mitigate the reach of a Kevin Holland. Did you expect this type of performance coming out from the Trailblazer?
From the Trailblazer, kind of, sort of, Derek. I did expect more out of the ordinary stuff from him, because when you're fighting such a technical boxer like JDM and he's throwing stuff down the pipe at you, has nice head movement, he's coming on the inside, there's things that you can do to kind of get out and then jump back in and hurt Jack Della Maddalena at that. Kevin Holland kind of played a little more static of a ground game. He was willing to kind of engage in the technical fighting, but not branch out. That was going to find him success in the other realms, as well as all the takedowns we saw. He didn't complete a single one. Did he? I'm pretty sure he didn't complete a single one, Derek. Yeah, he shot like 3 or 4, but I expected more of that. I expected more leg kicks. I expected more cutting angles and hitting counters and takedowns and stuff like that out of Kevin Holland to really provide him an advantage in this fight. Because in the technical match, we saw it. He was outgunned, outbattled, and outwitted. Did you expect Kevin Holland to pull more of the eccentric style that he once had out?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I bet on him. It was specifically for that reason. It was because I thought that we're seeing jumping hammer fists, and we're seeing, just kind of like those crazy little things that he does in the clinch, in these weird situations to throw your opponent off balance and just not kind of let them know what your next read is, right? Instead, we did see a lot of leg kicks, right? I mean, my man landed 35 leg kicks out of 43 attempts. Like, he was very efficient. He outlanded Jack Della Maddalena, pretty substantially by like 20 strikes. So that's where I was a little confused when I saw the scorecards, and they're saying pretty much like it was 29-28 times 2 for Maddalena, right? So I was like, okay, that's fair. I mean, I have to go back and rewatch it, but that's not like ludicrous. I'm not like, oh my God, not a 30-27. I just felt like it was really weird judging, because you had on one hand Jack Della Maddalena being a pressure fighter, right, and constantly walking down his opponent doing that. You had other fighters in the night do that same exact thing and lose their fight. And then you have Maddalena, and they say, well, we give it to him on pressure and on efficiency. And it's like, but what about the other fighters, right? So this was the style of fight that Kevin Holland needed to provide for Jack Della Maddalena to have a victory like this. Do you think that if they ran this back 10 times, Maddalena gets the better of him more than like 5 or 6 times?
The majority, no, Derek. I actually see this fight being close each and every time. I'd say 5-5 is probably where it lands up. Maybe one of them gets, a better, just slightly better than the other. But I see this fight playing out consistently like that, especially if we see Kevin Holland doing more of the spin and stuff, or those little sneaky little elbows on the inside. There was a couple there when he was landing them, but Jack caught onto it and also started landing some of his own. If we see Kevin Holland fight a little more wild, I think that would bode for him real well. But at the same time, that's what leads to getting knocked out. That's what leads to putting yourself in danger. So I can see why a fighter doesn't want to jump in like that. But I think it's going to be a close fight. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just because this is the other thing that I talked about for Kevin Holland. It's the thing you love and you hate about him, the unpredictability. I did not predict him to fight so technical, you know what I mean? So you just never know what you're going to get. With JDM, it's cookie cutter, but it's effective, and he got the job done. The right man won. Big decision win for Jack Della Maddalena. And my only other question is, not too long ago, we were saying we could see him in this like 7-12 range in this division. He might be shooting for the stars at this point, man. A big win over Kevin Holland, that lines him up. Let's get him in there against like Vicente Luque now. You know what I mean? Like, let's get him in there against a bigger name, higher number, and see how he fares. You think that's a good move?
Oh, 100%. I think that's in the stars for Jack Della Maddalena moving forward, man. It's only up from here. If you get, no matter how the win went, if you get a win on Kevin Holland, your name is now solidified as one of those top guys. People are going to be looking at you, put a target on your chest or on your back, and I think Maddalena is going to be prepared for it. I'm excited, man. That Vicente Luque fight sounds fun. Any of those ones up in there around that same area, sound like a great time. And we're going to be interesting to see how Maddalena handles somebody who's able to take him down, who's able to put him on the back foot and control that pressure right there. That's what I'm excited to see.
Absolutely, man. So big win by Jack Della Maddalena. And I will say that stone cold nature of him, where fist fighting just seems like a Tuesday afternoon, man. He's just like, yeah, I went in there. There's going to be time for fight, and we're going to go handle that, right? Big win by Jack Della Maddalena.